Hello everyone, I welcome you to another video by Legacy IAS where we're going to talk about how do we look at the two constitutions of India and Switzerland. The constitutional comparison is what we have to do by understanding the form of government that they have, the kind of society, polity that they have. Are there any differences foundationally between these two countries? Also, what are the similarities in the two countries in the way in which they manage or administer their countries on a day-to-day basis? All of this is what we're going to discuss in this particular video. It is really going to help you in understanding the relations between the two countries, and particularly in the context of the General Studies 2 paper for mains for the UPSC examination. It holds an important value. So in that sense, let us begin by discussing what are the areas of convergences, where are the two countries similar in terms of their constitutions. Now, as far as the first similarity that we talk about is the fact that there are courts and parliaments which are structured essentially on three levels, which include your federal, your cantonal, and communal. Now, as far as the Indian system is concerned, we have governments at three levels, that is, a tiered government at the central, state, and the local level, and further bifurcated into either an urban area or a rural area. Now, here as well, when we look at the parliaments, the legislature, and the executive for that matter, we have a division on these three levels. Now, what kind of relationship that they have, that is a different issue altogether. But structurally, there is this kind of an administration that is there at three levels. And why just the executive and legislature? Even the judiciary. There is a high court headed by a Supreme Court, and below it are subordinate courts. All right, and the subordinate courts are further subdivided. So there is this three-level government that is there, three-level judiciary that is there to kind of manage, administer the entire country better. If you look at the size, population, density of India with respect to vis-a-vis Switzerland for that matter, there's a huge difference in terms of the size, the population, the diversity, and we are definitely having to have a three-tier level of government. But in spite of this very difference, Switzerland also manages to have governments on three levels. It is a kind of government which is known for its direct democracy. Now, Switzerland has a two-chambered parliament at the national level. We have it both at the national level as well as in some cases in the states as well. Not in all states, not all states have dual government, or for that matter two houses of legislature, but at least some of the states have. So at least at the central level we have the parliament being managed in two houses in the form of Lok Sabha as well as Rajya Sabha. So here as well in Switzerland there are two chambers in the parliament. Now, as far as the members of the National Council are concerned, they are chosen every 4 years. Of course, this number of year is different, but the method of election, which is proportional representation by means of single transferable vote, that is similar. So, proportional representation is a methodology by which members are elected into the executive and legislature. So here we have a similarity also in terms of the methodology. Now, some of the other similarities between the two countries include the fact the way in which fundamentally the entire constitution or the form of government is. India is a federal government. India has a federal constitution, or for that matter constitution which supports a division of power between the center and the states. We have a similar kind of a distinction between the center and the federating units in Switzerland as well. There is also a republican form of government whereby the executive head of the state is elected, whether it is direct election or it is indirect election. Nevertheless, there is this election for the head of the state. Also, the executive is someone who is vested in the Federal Council. So here we have the executive coming from the Federal Council, a similar, slightly similar kind of a system like the parliamentary form of government as far as the Indian constitution is concerned. But if we look at the differences, they are also quite a lot. We have a major difference whereby the cantons which are there in Switzerland, they are the ones who can conclude treaties with other countries. Now, of course, we can have a state government going ahead in from India to any other country, or for that matter, representing their particular state in a particular. But it is more so concluding treaties with other countries is more of a national subject, all right? And these treaties can be in areas of your education, health, climate change, infrastructure, all right, defense, railways. There can be several sectors in which you can have treaties. Those treaties can be of a pan India perspective, or it can be for a specific area or a region or a particular department. But it is generally the prerogative of the central government to have such kind of treaties and understandings with other countries. This kind of a difference we see in the case of Swiss and Indian constitution. Now, the judiciary in Switzerland cannot rule invalid a federal law. So, here in India, we have a concept of judicial supremacy through judicial review, judicial activism, whereby judiciary not just checks the new legislations which are coming up, but also the executive actions which are taking place. Or in the case of or through judicial activism, a lot of other activities which probably come to it through public interest litigation, or it does suo moto, or it does through several other boards, all right, or platforms. But here when we look at, and definitely has the power to overrule any judgment, any law which has been made by the center or the state, or any executive action that has been taken. That is not the case with Switzerland, because here you cannot see that a federal law can be invalidated by the judiciary. So that is a major area of difference. Now, if we look at, as I was telling you, the size of India, the population of India, we are looking at a situation whereby it is physically not possible for us to have referendum on different issues per se. Sometimes it is also done for a lot of unsaid reasons, let's say security reason, or public law and order, or morality. But in any case, the point is that it is actually quite difficult for India to have a referendum in even a particular state, let alone the entire country. When we look at Switzerland, on the other hand, it's known for principles of direct democracy, particularly referendum. Referendum is something which is quite possible in a country like Switzerland, and it also quite actively engages in case there is a requirement. All right, whenever they feel while drafting a legislation that they need at the end a referendum whereby they need to take the legislation before the public and seek their opinion as well, that is also possible. They also have that provision. We don't really have that incorporated as a process, even though now we're coming up with a lot of better governance models like citizens charter, or right, national grievance redressal and all of that. But it is not something as compared to a proper political established referendum, as you see in the case of Switzerland. So in that sense, it's quite different in terms of the way in which constitutional practices kind of take place. So there is, of course, such things which you need to kind of look at as far as Indian and Swiss constitutions are concerned. Towards the end, I would like to say that yes, we are some countries which kind of need to look at the comparison between India and Switzerland, especially from the UPSC perspective. But even otherwise, in terms of understanding how the relationship between the two countries can move forward, we need to kind of look at that particular comparative constitutional scheme. So I hope you've liked the video. If you have, then please like and also share it with those who need information on this. Keep subscribing for more videos from Legacy IAS.